concepts we've discussed to the drills and exercises starting with problem number 1. Okay? So here, De Leon Company established a sales agency in Malolos. So given the following transactions, give the appropriate journal entries because that's the requirement. Kung titingnan mo, no? Required, prepare the necessary journal entries. Okay? So transaction number 1, nilalagay ko dito, no? Number 1, anong meron? A working fund of 20,000 is established. So here, the journal entry, no, is to debit working fund or sabihin na natin cash fund. Again, debit cash fund equal to 20,000 pesos. Then apparently will credit cash equal also to 20,000 pesos. Okay? Transaction number 2. Ship merchandise to Malolos agency, no, for use as samples. That's equal to 3,000 pesos. So here the journal entry is to debit samples inventory. Again, will debit samples inventory. Okay? And then will credit shipment to sales agency or pwede rin namang merchandise inventory na agad-agad. And that's equal to 3,000 pesos. Okay? Now, let's move on to number 3. Fill sales orders from Malolos agency and that's equal to 150,000. As I said during our discussion, the sales agency, no, will not have its own sales account. But instead, the home office is the one filling the orders, no, that received by the sales agency. Okay? So, kapag may umorder sa sales agency, ibibigay niya yun kay home office and the home office will be the one who will fill the same. Okay? So, here, our journal entry is to debit accounts receivable from sales agency and that's equal to 150,000 pesos. Then, we'll credit sales para ma-distinguish natin ano ba yung galing sa sales agency. We'll put dash sales agency there which is equal to 150,000 pesos as well. Okay? Transaction number 4, cost of goods sold identified with sales agency is equal to 90,000 pesos. So obviously, our journal entry here is to debit cost of goods sold sales agency and that's equal to 90,000 pesos. And then apparently, we'll credit what? We'll credit shipment, no, to sales agency because apparently yung kaninang 3,000 hindi yon yung gagamitin natin. Okay? Yung inventory na i-credit dapat natin dito is iba doon sa samples inventory. Okay? That's why credit shipment to sales agency here equal to 90,000 pesos. Okay? Number 5, replenishment of working fund of the agency is 25,000. So replenishment na to, this is the time that we will record expenses. Okay? So, 20,000 lang dati, naging 25. So, we increase the sales agency working fund by 5,000. So, here in number 5, the journal entry is to debit cash fund, no? Because we'll increase cash fund by 5,000 from 20 to 25. We'll also debit expenses, okay? Because we'll assume, no, na since the amount of replenishment is equal to 25,000, see to it that we have expenses equal to 20,000 pesos. Once again, the 20,000 is not given, but we'll assume na expenses na yun since the amount of replenishment here is already equal to 25,000. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next journal entry. Close revenue and expense account of the agency. So, easy lang to, no? Kailangan mo lang i-close lahat ng nominal accounts. Okay? So, here we'll debit sales of the sales agency and that's equal to 150,000 pesos. Ito yun, no? We'll also credit, okay? Cost of goods sold of the sales agency, ito naman yun, that's equal to 90,000 pesos. Okay? We'll credit expenses or various expenses of the sales agency which is equal to 20,000 pesos. Yun. Okay? Then apparently, income summary will be the balancing figure. Once again, our balancing figure here, no, will be the income summary. Okay? Since meron siyang credit balance, this income summary account represents net income. Okay? So, magkano yung net income natin? 150 minus 90 minus 20 or this is equal to 40,000 pesos. And then finally, number 7, close Malolos agency income to income summary account. Alright? So, dito, diniretso ko na, no, sa income summary. Pero pwede rin naman na instead, no, alternatively dito sa number 6, pwede rin naman na will debit sales agency equal to 150,000. We credit cost of goods sold of the sales agency and that's equal to 90,000 pesos. We credit expenses equal to 20,000 pesos and then apparently sales agency income first, no? will be credited and that's equal to 40,000. And then apparently, sa number 7 ngayon, i-close mo itong sales agency income natin, which is equal to 40,000 to income summary account, which is equal also to 40,000 pesos. So as you can see, whether you compound those two journal entries or you prepare them differently, pareho lang naman ang magiging sagot natin. Okay? So these are the journal entries, no, here in problem number 1. Okay? So let's now move on, no, here in problem number 2. Okay? So here in problem number 2, what are the requirements? The requirements are, number 1, provide the entries, no, in each of the books of the home office and the branch. Provide also the closing entries. Okay? So dalawang libro ang ating gagamitin dito. We have the home office books, okay? Because home office books daw and branch books, no? Then we also have here the branch books, okay? Ano pang meron? Requirement number 2, reconcile the reciprocal accounts at the end of the period. Then number 3, prepare the statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss of the branch. Okay, branch lang, okay? So here on January 1, 2020, Rain Soriano Corporation establishes branch Interlock for an initial cash investment of 488,000 pesos. Home office and branch are using the perpetual inventory system, with the latter having beginning inventory amounting, no, to 12,000 pesos. The following are the transactions during the first quarter of 2020. So before we move on to the transactions, journalize muna natin yung 488 at yung 12,000. Okay? So to record the initial investment, no, we debit investment in branch equal to 488,000 pesos, and then we'll credit cash, syempre nawala ng cash yung home office, equal to 488,000. Okay? Here in branch books, our journal entry is to debit cash equal to 488,000 since we receive cash equal to 488. Then we'll credit the home office current account, which is also equal to 488,000 pesos. Okay? Now, nagpadali din daw si home office ng 12,000 as beginning inventory of the latter. Okay? So here we'll also debit investment in branch equal to 12,000 because for every cash transfer, or should I say asset transfer from home office to branch, reciprocal accounts are actually increased. Okay? Then we'll credit shipment to branch here equal to 12,000 pesos. Here in branch books, the journal entry is to debit shipment from home office equal to 12,000 and then credit home office current account equal as well, no, to 12,000 pesos. Okay? Now, let's move on to the transaction. Transaction letter A. The branch acquires inventory of 200,000, no, on account, half of which is charged to the home office. So, nag-acquire tayo ng 200,000 pero kalahati i-charge sa home office. So here, the journal entry, no, is with debit purchases or pwede rin namang inventory. Depende if we are using the periodic or the perpetual inventory system. Pareho lang naman ng magiging sagot at the end of the period. Okay? So purchases which is equal, no, to 200,000 pesos. Okay? See to it that accounts payable will only be credited to 100,000 since half is to be charged to the home office. So ang ibig sabihin, the home office will be the one who will pay the half of the purchases. So, credit HOCA to 100,000 pesos because once again, no, the home office will bear or will shoulder the other 100,000. So, here's a home office books will debit, no, investment in branch 100,000 and then credit accounts payable equal to 100,000. Okay? Now, transaction letter B, the branch acquires equipment equal to 120,000 cash. Once again, the branch is the one who acquired the equipment, so credit to cash will be seen in branch books. The equipment will be carried in the books of the branch as well. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, if the equipment will be charged or will be carried rather in the book of the branch, will debit equipment in branch books equal to 120,000 pesos. This is acquired by the branch, therefore credit cash as well here in branch books. Okay? Obviously, reciprocal account is not affected by that journal entry, so we have no entry, no, here in home office books. Okay? Next transaction. Transaction letter Charlie. The home office transfers old equipment, no, with carrying amount of 60,000 and accumulated depreciation of 30. Obviously, no, the cost here, if we will compute, it will be equal to 360,000. to the branch. The branch will carry the equipment in its books. Okay? So, nagkaroon ng asset transfer or ng equipment transfer from home office to branch. So, reciprocal accounts will be increased. Okay? So, here will debit investment in branch equal to the carrying amount of 60,000. What else? Will debit accumulated depreciation because we will now derecognize the accumulated depreciation of 300,000. Then we'll derecognize the equipment on the books of the home office. So, credit equipment equal to 360,000. Okay? Here in branch books, on the other hand, we'll debit equipment equal to 60,000. No? That's the carrying amount of the equipment. And then we'll credit home office current account, which is also equal to 60,000 pesos. Okay? Ano pang mga nangyari? Letter delta. The branch makes total cash sales of 600,000 pesos. Unsold goods daw at the end of the period amounted to 20,000 pesos. Okay? So let's record the sales. So here we'll debit cash, then we'll credit sales equal to 600,000 pesos. So dito pa lang we can already compute the cost of goods sold. So here we can debit cost of goods sold, and then we credit what? We credit purchases because we will derecognize the amount of purchases which is equal to 200,000. Then apparently, anong nangyari sa inventory natin? From 12,000, that's our beginning inventory, naging 20,000. So, nag-increase ang inventory natin by 8. So, we'll debit inventory here. Again, we'll debit inventory which is equal to 8,000 pesos. Then, obviously, cost of goods sold will also be debited. Magkano kaya yun? Okay? Alamin natin. Beginning inventory is equal to 12,000. Okay? Purchases natin is actually equal to magkano ang purchases natin? Purchases is equal to 200,000. So, apparently here, our total goods available for sale is equal to 212,000 pesos. We deduct here the ending inventory of magkano ang ending inventory natin? Our ending inventory is equal to 20,000 pesos. Tama ba? 20,000? Minus yun, mako-compute na natin si what? Mako-compute na natin si cost of goods sold, which is equal to magkano? 212,000, minus 20,000, or this is equal to 192,000 pesos. Okay? So, apparently here, we debit cost of goods sold equal to 192,000 pesos. Okay? Pwede rin naman, na inventory that will be debited here is 20,000, and then apparently, will derecognize shipment from home office which is equal to 12,000 pesos. Pareho lang din na balance ang magiging sagot natin. Basta at the end of the day, always remember that we have 20,000 ending inventory. Okay? So here, hindi naman naapektuhan sa parehong journal entry, yung reciprocal account natin. Therefore, we have no entry, here in home office books. Okay? Now, punta tayo sa transaction na kasunod. What's the next transaction? The next transaction is transaction letter echo, wherein here, the branch remits 80,000 cash to the home office. Okay? So here, naka-receive ng cash ang home office, tama ba? So we debit cash here in home office books, and that's equal to 80,000 pesos. Okay? Once again, whenever there is an asset transfer from branch going to the home office, reciprocal accounts will decrease. That's why here, we'll credit investment in branch equal to 80,000 pesos. Okay? Same thing here. We'll debit home office current account to decrease the same equal to 80,000 pesos. Then we'll credit cash equal to 80,000 pesos as well. Okay? So, lalagay ulit ako dito. Lalagay ko dito, home office books. Right? Medyo maliit, yung nakalagay sa branch books. Okay? Then here, lalagay natin branch books. Okay? Next transaction, transaction letter foxtrot. The branch pays other expenses, equal to 150,000. So, nagbayad daw siya ng 150,000. So, here, we'll debit expenses. Again, we debit expenses and then we credit cash equal to 150,000 pesos. The reciprocal account HOCA is not affected by that journal entry. So, we have no entry here in home office books. What else? Total depreciation for the period is 10,000 pesos. So, we debit depreciation expense equal to 10,000. Then, we credit accumulated depreciation also equal to 10,000 pesos. And then, no entry here in home office books. Then, ano pa? The home office allocates 25,000 expense to the branch representing the branch share in the maintenance cost of the company's management information system. So, nag-allocate ng expense. So, we debit expenses, once again, equal to magkano nga ulit yun? That's equal to 25,000 pesos. And then, babawasan natin, no, yung expenses ni home office. So, credit expenses here in home office books equal to 25,000. Once again, here, the home office already paid these expenses. Then, apparently, si branch dapat na magbayad because share yan ni branch. So, if that's the case, think of it, na tipo bang the home office already paid these expenses on behalf of the branch, or the home office gave the branch some cash in order for the branch to pay the same. So, if that's the case, there is a cash transfer from the home office going to the branch. That's why the reciprocal accounts must be increased. That's why here we need to debit investment in branch equal to 25,000 pesos, and then we'll credit home office current account also equal, no, to 25,000 pesos. Okay? I believe that is the last transaction here. Pero dito, sabi kasi sa requirement number 1, provide also the closing entries. So, let's close all the nominal accounts of the branch. Okay? So, here, will debit sales. Again, will debit sales equal to magkano ang sales ni branch? Si branch, meron siyang 600,000 sales, no? So, we debit sales equal to 600,000 pesos. What else? We credit cost of goods sold. How much is the cost of goods sold of the branch? That's equal to 192,000 pesos. We credit expenses, which is magkano yung total expenses? Total expenses is 150 plus 25, or that's equal to 175,000 pesos. Okay? We debit depreciation expense. This is also an expense which is equal to 10,000 pesos, and of course, the balancing figure here will be the income summary account. So, magkano yan? 600,000 minus 192,000 minus 175,000 minus 10,000, or this is equal to 223,000 pesos. Again, this is equal, no, to 223,000 pesos. Saan na nga ulit kino-close yung income summary account na yan? This income summary account is to be closed to the capital account of the branch, which is the home office current account. That's why here, we'll debit income summary, which is equal to 223,000 pesos, and then we'll credit home office current account, which is equal to 223,000 pesos. Okay? Obviously, if there is an increase in the home office current account, see to it that what? See to it that the IIB account must also be increased. So, we'll debit IIB equal to 223,000 and then credit income summary, okay, which is equal to 223,000 pesos. On the closing entry, see to it that we have no entry here in home office books. Okay? So, these are all the journal entries as well as the closing entries, no, in problem number 2. So, let me just add a page, no, okay, to answer requirement 2 and requirement 3. Requirement 2, reconcile the reciprocal accounts at the end of the period. Alright? So, here, meron tayong beginning, HOCA, at saka IIB. Okay? So, magkano yun? That's equal to 488,000. Again, that's equal to 488,000 pesos. Lagay ko dito, no? 488,000 pesos. Okay? Ano nangyari? Nagkaroon ng shipment of inventory. Magkano yung shipment of inventory? That's equal to 12,000. That's why reciprocal accounts are increased. So, lalagay ko dito, no? 12,000 pesos and then 12,000 pesos. Okay? Now, ano pang nangyari dito? Nagkaroon in letter A, right, ng assumption of liability of the branch. Inassume ni home office yung kalahati ng purchases ni branch. That's why here, ilalagay natin, no? Assumption of liability. Yung assumption of liability na yun, increase the reciprocal accounts by 100,000. So, mag-a-add tayo dito ng 100,000 pesos. Okay? Ano pang nangyari? Nagkaroon ng transfer, no? Here in letter Charlie, nagkaroon ng transfer of PPE from the home office going to the branch. That resulted to increase in the HOCA and the IIB account. Okay? So, transfer of equipment will be the next transaction, no, that could affect the reciprocal accounts, and that will increase reciprocal accounts by 60,000. Okay? Next transaction will be transaction letter delta. That's the total remittance, no? No. That's echo rather, not delta. That's echo. That's the remittance of 80,000, no, of cash by the branch to the home office. So if that's the case, nagkaroon ng cash transfer nga, no, from the branch going to the home office, reciprocal accounts will be decreased. That's why here, kinredit natin yung IIB and then dinebit natin yung HOCA by 80,000. So lalagay ko dito cash remittance and that will decrease the reciprocal accounts by 80,000 pesos. Okay? Ano pang nangyari dito? Next will be the allocation of expenses dito sa Foxtrot. Nagkaroon ng allocation and that's equal to 25,000. Ito yun, no? Okay? So, nag-debit ng IIB, nag-credit ng HOCA ng 25,000 pesos. Okay? So, allocation of expenses will increase HOCA and IIB by 25,000 pesos. Okay? Then, last is the income of the branch. Again, last but not the least will be the income of the branch. Income of the branch is close to HOCA and IIB. That's 223,000. So, we'll add here, no, 223,000 pesos. Alright? So, the ending balance now or the adjusted balance, no, of the HOCA and IIB account now will be how much? 488 plus 12,000 plus 100,000 plus 60,000 minus 80,000 plus 25,000 plus 223,000, or this is equal to 828,000 pesos. Once again, this is equal to 828,000 pesos. And that's for requirement number 2. Okay? Requirement number 3, prepare the statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss of the branch. Okay? Start tayo sa statement of profit or loss. Starting with sales. Magkano nga ulit ang sales ni branch? Sales of the branch is equal to 600,000, no? So, ilalagay ko dito 600,000. As we all know, cost of goods sold must be deducted here to compute the gross profit. And magkano yung cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold is equal to 192,000 pesos. So, minus 192,000, magkano ang gross profit? 600 minus 192, this is equal to 408,000 pesos. Okay? Then, apparently, we just need to what? We just need to deduct the expenses, right? And, of course, the depreciation expense, and then that's it. This is already the net income for the year. So, dapat equal yan dun sa net income na na-compute natin kanina, which is 223,000. Ito yun, no? 223 na-compute kanina. Okay? So, expenses once again is equal to 150 plus 25, no? Or that's equal to 175,000 pesos. While depreciation expense is equal to 10,000. Okay? So, minus 10,000. So, let's prove na 223 talaga to. 408 minus 175 minus 10,000 is still equal to 223,000 pesos. So, that's the statement of profit or loss. Okay? Ngayon, pumunta tayo sa statement of financial position. So, sa statement of financial position, first item will be the cash. Magkano kaya yung balance ng cash? 488, hindi yon. Dito tayo sa branch. 488,000 naka-debit sa cash. So, 488 yung first natin. Okay, tingnan natin sa second journal entry, walang cash. Third, walang cash. Next journal entry, yung fourth, no, meron tayong credit to cash which is 120. So, minus 120 tayo. Okay? Next journal entry, wala namang cash. Next journal entry, nag-debit tayo ng cash ng 600. So, plus 600. Next journal entry, walang cash. The next journal entry, nag-credit tayo ng cash equal to 80. So, minus 80. And then, no pa? That's it. That's the last transaction or last journal entry na may kinalaman sa cash. Tama ba? Meron pa ba? Meron pa? I think, hindi, meron pa. Ito pa. Itong 150,000. Nag-credit tayo ng 150,000 for the payment of expenses. So, minus 150 pa pala. Okay? I think wala na, no? So, ibig sabihin, cash is equal to 738,000 pesos. Okay? Inventory, on the other hand, once again, ending inventory natin, isn't it, no? Is equal to 20,000 pesos. Okay? So, lalagay ko dito, 20,000. Okay? Then, last but not the least, meron tayo ditong equipment, which is magkano kaya yung equipment natin? Our equipment will be equal to, okay, bumili tayo ng 120,000 worth of equipment. So, lalagay ko dito, 120,000, no? Naka-receive tayo ng 60,000 from the home office. So, plus 60,000. Then, minus the accumulated depreciation kasi mina-minus yan sa pag-compute ng carrying amount. Minus the accumulated depreciation na 10,000 mako-compute natin yung balance ng equipment, which is equal to, magkano to? This is equal to 170,000 pesos. Okay? So, total assets natin ngayon is equal to magkano? This is equal to 738 plus 20 plus 170, or this is equal to 928,000 pesos. Okay? Now, liabilities and equity tayo. Accounts payable. Meron tayong accounts payable eh. Ito yun, no? That's equal to 100,000 pesos. Then, yun lang naman yung isa-isang utang natin dito. Then, apparently, our home office current account, which is the capital account of the branch, na may balance siya na 828. So, lalagay ko dito, no? 828,000. Okay? So, total liability, again, total liability and equity now will be equal to magkano? Total liability and equity is still equal or is also equal to 928,000. And as you can see, balance naman. So, tama, no? Yung ating ginawa. Okay? So, that is problem number 2. Okay? So, this is the first part, no, of our discussion. The next video, we will discuss the exercises. Okay? So, I hope you guys learned a lot from this video discussing, no, the solutions and the journal entries with regards to the drills. God bless, guys, and bye-bye.